form was because your parents suggested that you put it there? How many of the choices that have you made in your life up until now because of what people think? So it's really, really easy to get caught up with everyone else. It's very, very important that we check ourselves and we ask, does it make us freaking happy? Now, this is the best part. Do you have a plan? When you guys are making goals, how detailed do you go into the process when you're planning? You've seen how much detail goes into the programming behind RevFit and all the workouts that you guys do there. Would you guys ever go into the same detail when it comes to plans in your personal life, your professional life? Would you? Well, what I'm going to suggest that you guys do is go into that much detail. We can be absolute rock stars in work. We are getting bonuses, promotions. We are getting high fives from our bosses. When it comes to the gym, we are all exceptional at following a program. We've got James hammering at us, going to follow the damn program, follow the damn program. And it's easy to follow the program when you have that much support in place. But when it comes to your personal life, when it comes to the goals that you have decided to aspire to, that diligence, that ambition, that determination, it goes out the window. We don't apply that to our personal lives. We are all very, very good at compartmentalizing. When we're in work, we are accountable. We have to do it. Someone is relying on us for something. But yet when it comes to a weight loss goal, a health goal, or a performance goal, we just don't give it that same drive, do we?
Sarah's people like to say it, but basically what she's saying is you put everyone else first, so why the fuck are you putting yourself last?
Yeah. It's a very, yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you. That's it. So we compartmentalize to the point where we put everyone else above our own needs. But you guys are here right now because you have goals. Even if you didn't put up your hand, even if you don't know what they are yet, you have goals, aspirations, and dreams related to your health, fitness, performance, and weight loss, to your aesthetics. And what I'm going to challenge you to do is to take that same dedication that the guys apply to the programming in RevFit and that you apply every time you turn up, and the same dedication that you apply to your job, and apply it to those goals and aspirations as well. Another really common excuse, something that Lindsay had mentioned, is the reason that we don't succeed, is the reason that we get in our own ways because we don't think that we're worth it. We are very, very good at rationalizing, at intellectualizing, if that's even a word, reasons why we should not succeed. How many of you guys fear success? Yeah, it's a terrifying one, isn't it? Knowing that you are that close to experiencing greatness, but you just pull yourself back because you wouldn't know how to cope, you don't know what to do, it's never happened to you before. So what we need is to apply that dedication to your workplace, the dedication that you apply to the gym. Okay, so the plan. We have a starting point, we have an end point. These are the red circles that you see here. And we have 3 milestones. When we're setting a plan, anything after about 6 months, you will get very, very bored. Our brain requires constant stimulation in order to remain excited, in order to remain passionate about something. So that's why we've created 3 milestones, the 3 red dots that you see in the middle. Our starting point is there because we need something in order to measure our progress. If you can't measure it, you can't manage it. So if you guys have goals right now in your head, would you be able to tell me what your starting point was? If you guys had a weight loss goal, do you know what your weight was when you decided that you were going to go out and lose weight? Did you know what your current back squat was when you decided that you wanted to squat double body weight? Did you know what your current 10-kilometer time was when you decided that you wanted to do it in 40 minutes? If you guys don't know that, you may have lost 5 pounds, you may have cut your time by 20 seconds, but you'll have nothing to measure that against. It is incredibly important that we know what that is. The end point. How many of you guys have ever pushed your goalposts back? How many of you guys have achieved something, gone, oh, that seemed a bit too easy, I'm going to go for 5 more pounds instead? Or, I don't know, that 100 kilos felt really light, I'm going to go for 105 next. Do you guys do that? Yeah. So that's called pushing the goalposts back. What I'm going to suggest that you guys, how you guys think about that, it's not pushing any goalposts back. What you guys are doing is getting to exactly where it was that you wanted to be. You just don't acknowledge it and you're not celebrating it in any way. You've just decided that it wasn't good enough, that you're not worth the celebration, and you're going to plow on and create another goal without even taking stock of where you've come from and how far you've come. So there's no such thing as pushing the goalposts back. It's just not taking stock of where it is that you've been.
You've no idea how true that is. If anyone is failing to kind of actually think of an example of this, like I've competed in powerlifting for like 8 or 9 years. I've won national and world championships. I've set national and world records. Like I've done really, really well in this sport. I've had one competition I've been happy with. I've walked away disappointed from every other single competition because I failed to meet the expectations of myself because of the next competition. So I did the competition and I said, yeah, it could have been better, and I'm going to do it next time. And it wasn't until I did my last competition as a junior, a very definite, clear endpoint and set of goalposts, that I was able to stop and say, hey, I actually did pretty good there. And I would have been much happier all the way through if I had been able to do that.
And I want to stick with this endpoint one as well for a second, guys, just because of how important it is. But how many of you have achieved goals and celebrated in some way? Okay, anyone else? How many of you guys have missed out on something, have missed out on a goal, have fallen short of your expectations, or done something wrong and beaten yourself up? Okay. So we will regularly call ourselves stupid or thick, lazy, unworthy, because we're not getting to where it is that we want to be fast enough. We will look at ourselves in the mirror and berate our appearance and our reflection because we aren't where we want to be. But yet when you achieve, what your brain needs you to do the most is give it positive feedback. It needs to be rewarded in some way. But yet when we make that progress and when we do achieve, it's never enough. And we never celebrate, we never take stock. If you guys have been following me in the BLP journey for a while, you guys would have known that this time last September, I was working as a project manager in Trinity College, and I needed to give 3 months notice in work. So last June, for loads and loads and loads of reasons, I decided that it was time for me to leave Trinity, and it was time for me to work full-time on the Better Life project, which was my baby, my passion, my love. And when I handed in my notice in June, it was single-handedly the most terrifying thing that I had ever done in my life. Handing in my notice to a well-paying, secure job that guaranteed me some future, that guaranteed me a vocation, certainty. And that's pretty important for human beings. We need to feel like we have those things. But I'm Sarah, and I love goals, so I had created my plan. And leaving my job was milestone 1. And handing in my notice on June, I think it was a Tuesday afternoon because my boss was always mental and that was the only day I could get her. I handed in my notice, she was pissed off, she didn't talk to me for a few days. And do you want to know what I did to celebrate? I went to Grafton Street, I walked into River Island and I bought myself a pair of jeans. And I said, great, okay, brilliant, I've got a nice new pair of jeans. And my little cousin, she's gassed, she was about 6 at the time, and she looks at me and she goes, Sarah, there's holes in your jeans. Did you pay for them? And I was like, yeah, I did, Lucy. And I just became quite embarrassed that the day that I handed in my notice, 3.5 years in a secure job, I got myself a pair of jeans. And I went and I had a conversation with a friend a few weeks later, and we were just chatting about what had happened, and I noticed that she had a beautiful ring on her finger with a lovely quote on it. And I asked her a few questions about it, and I explained to her where I was coming from and what I had done to celebrate leaving my job. And I became so deeply ashamed of myself. When I would look back at my life in 80 years' time, I'm hoping 80, when I look back at myself on my life, I will only ever have a pair of jeans to remember what was going to be the most scary, terrifying and rewarding time of my life. A pair of jeans. And I couldn't even tell you what jeans they are in the wardrobe anymore. The ones with holes in them. But rips are all the rage at the moment, so who knows which one that is. But a pair of jeans. So I decided to go into the shop where my friend had bought that beautiful ring of hers. And I bought myself this bracelet that says, "You can if you believe." And the reason I decided to get myself this bracelet was because the one thing that was holding me back the most from taking that step, handing in my notice, was because I didn't think I had what it took to run a business. I was very, very good at working for someone else. I was very good at slotting into someone else's routine and structure. I didn't believe I had what it took to run a business. But you can be damn sure that every time I look at this bracelet, I am reminded that I do have what it takes, and I am reminded that this bracelet represents one day in June in 2014 where I had the courage to chase after my dreams. That's how important celebration is. So we should never ever underestimate the power of marking a day in some way. So if you guys lose 10 pounds, if you guys PR your back squat, do something original, do something unique. Don't go out in the piss. That's what you guys do every night. Don't order a pizza. Sorry.
What are you telling her,
Let's think outside the box. Don't order pizza or Chinese because it's what you usually do.
I forgot it.
Get creative about it, guys. I promise you, it's an incredibly empowering feeling when you're able to reward yourself in that way. When you can actually give yourself a reminder. Don't ever underestimate it. So yes, you celebrate at every point you reach a milestone. You mark that in some way. It's hard work chasing after your goals.